Hello, Internet. It's been a little bit. We got some projects and stuff going on. I wanted to make a quick video for customizers out there that are looking to potentially make their own figures with joints. So we're going to be doing a test between Sirya Tech Fast, and so this is the Fast regular standard gray, and we're going to compare it to Fast Mecha, which is a lot more expensive, but this is meant for engineering and moving parts. So I have some prints set up. So yeah, let's dive into it and let's see what this is all about, and we'll compare it to our regular Fast. Okay, so here we go. We got some parts here that I printed off. Now this is from a Dark Trooper. Um, it's a project that I've printed before, and it turned out to be a giant fail, and it's because the joints were weak, and it was hard to get the prints to stick. The print joints were really tight, and I just wasn't a fan of how it came out. But more importantly, with the joints, the joints themselves, they would wear down, and so that's where this Mecha resin is supposed to be better for those parts. So I have 3 different batches here, and so I'm gonna kind of explain what is actually going on, what you're looking at. Let me grab a Sharpie. Oh, here we go. Okay. So if you watched the what video was that? The parts figure dyeing video. In the figure dyeing video, you saw me actually dye these parts. So that's how long I've been holding on to this figure. So these parts, this is the Sirya Tech, and it's fast gray. And then I dyed it. So I'll write dyed. Okay. These 2 parts up here, these are both Mecha, and the only difference between the 2 is this set is dyed the same way that I dyed this set, and this set is just, we're going to call it raw. So this is the color that the dye, or not the dye, the resin actually is. So you know what, that's not gonna work. So yeah, y'all can see it. So anyway, the properties of this resin is you're supposed to have joints that are able to work together and not wear down over time. Let me kind of back out here just a little bit. Now, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to move this microphone from being on me. I want it closer to the parts I'm going to be working with, because we might notice from the raw prints and the dye prints that it's relatively more quiet than the regular fast gray. So that's something that we can keep an eye out on. So I'm going to go ahead and move this. So the audio might kind of suffer, but I think it's going to be worth it. So we'll drop that right there in the center. Okay, so looking at these parts, let's start off. We're going to start off with the fast, because I'm already familiar with how this fast is going to operate. I know as soon as I start getting joints together, if there's any type of friction between them, this is going to start to powder, and we'll see like a white residue. Now, actually, before we even start, something I noticed whenever I was dyeing these. Notice that the Mecha resin does not take dye as well and as pure as the fast gray. and I'm assuming that's because of the different binder that they use in the Mecha compared to the regular fast gray. And going by feel, on the feel, there's definitely a difference between the two. Um, the Mecha has a lot more smoother feeling, so there's very little friction, and yeah, it's the same. It's the same on the raw print. So these are pretty much the same. It's just one's been dyed. Like I said, these were both dyed the same process. So this was dyed with uh, the synthetic graphite with acetone. Same with this one, and this black came out a lot better and a lot darker and a lot clearer. Like this one almost has like a white ashy overtone to it. Okay, so anyway, so let's get into these joints. Now, this was a problem that I was facing with my Dark Trooper. Is I would get the joints in, and they would be tight. Now, I have since gone through and kind of refined my process about, okay, how do I print things now? What is the clearance for the parts that I print? Let's get this part snapped in. Okay, so there we go. That part snapped in. Just kidding, it snapped off. So, getting parts on, that was the difficult challenge that I faced with my initial Dark Trooper. Is I was breaking joints left and right for an otherwise amazing figure. So what I ended up doing was using like lubrication and putting some lube, some white lithium lube inside, and hoping that would kind of tease it to get in. Now, as I'm trying to force this thing in, I'm basically rocking it back and forth, and I'm actually wearing the part down. So we can see it in the joint how it's turning white, like that. Okay, that's why I wanted to get some that was dyed, because this powder would be easy to see, and this is very typical of what fast gray does, and a lot of resins do, is any type of wear, then they will powderize, and then eventually what ends up happening, if you can get a figure made, and there we go, I just broke it again. So that was just trying to get that in there. Now we have resin residue that was left over. The leg went in pretty easy. That one seemed to be pretty nice, but it doesn't actually stay in, so that might be a problem. Let's look at different joints. So I have elbow joints and I have leg joints. Now these should snap together. Okay, so now that these are in, we can hear them grinding. Okay, there's a lot of force between these joints, and if we pull them out, there we go. That's what I expected to see. So joints are really hard to move. Let's try a knee joint. And there we go. Yep, same. Okay, so that was our our fast gray. Now, I'm going to do it to both of these, but since I'm comparing mainly the blacks together, I will go ahead and do the black ones first. So that went in really nice. Get y'all's mind out of the gutter. There we go. So we pull it out. Absolutely zero powdering, which means we're not wearing down anything, which is exactly what we want for joints. Let's try to get this on. That literally just snapped in perfect. So we can hear how tight it is, and the thing is, that's not going away, which means we're not wearing that resin down. So that's good. Oh my goodness. The fact that I couldn't even get the other ones together, and this thing is there, and I mean, that's so nice. So, yeah. So, like I said, zero residue. Still sounds the same. Let's get some knee joints together, since we have legs that apparently want to actually work. So that's nice. The knee joint actually went together, whereas this one, which was something that I was running into, I couldn't get the joint fully together. There was a little bit of a gap. Let me try to make this brighter so we can see. Okay, so there was some gap. So we have a gap between that one where the joint's not fully seated, and that one's perfectly fine. Pull it out. Looks like, well, I'm going to say there's no powder. It does look like it does get a little bit shinier. If we compare the two, you can see this one is shinier from the wear, I guess, or just from the movement. But you know what? That's fine. And with this one, I can actually get the leg pin in. And so now, that whole knee is assembled. Can we get it inside? Oh my goodness. That is just, that's awesome. So it's in. I have another knee joint. I should. Yeah, there we go. No. Nope, I do not have another knee joint. Here was a waist joint that I couldn't even get to on that one. So that waist joint goes and pops right in. That might not even be the right one. I don't even know. So I'll just throw it off to the side. What about elbows? That's it. That's all y'all get. Amazing. So let's just look at the raw. I'm going to assume this is going to be the same as the dyed. Part snap in. It's possible it's a little bit quieter, and that could be because the dye could have possibly changed the outside portions. Oh, there we go. So spinning the leg side to side, that's activating the joint between the thigh and the hip joint, and then walking movements. I mean, this is all still tight, so you could pose figures. Knee joint. It's in. Sounds the same. Knee joint pin. Nope, that was the wrong pin. No, that's the right one. It just goes in really good. Well, it fell out. So that one's going to fall out too. That's pretty loose. So yeah, there we go. There's another knee joint. Build another one. Oh, there we go. I just broke that pin that I broke on the other one. I don't even think I exerted much force on that. One thing I'm still not sure of is like just the different properties. What is like the shear, like the tensile strength and stuff like that. So that could have just been from how I printed it. I printed all of these the same. So, I mean, at least I got these ones, together before that happened. But, yeah, so, I mean, that's what these joints, that's what Mecha is here for, is to make mechanical parts. So if you want to design a custom figure, design your joints where so let me back that up. So Mecha is about $75 for that little bottle. That giant jug, which is 5 of those little bottles, that's $150. So the price for Mecha is pretty expensive. What I would do, and if you're into making your own things, make your joints separate from the model so that you could still print, like this thigh piece. In reality, this thigh piece could have been printed with fast. I could take this joint right here, right? And this joint moves kind of side to side, up and down, but it doesn't rotate. I might not need that rotation there, so I could supplement cheaper resin for the bigger parts. Same with like the knee. If I don't need a knee, to rotate, then I could just secure Mecha inside this piece, and so I would only have to print off this joint and this joint, and like maybe this chest piece. I don't know. You just have to think about how to go about designing stuff. Um, so yeah. So there we go. There's Mecha. Um, Definitely kind of a game changer for customizers. So uh, I think that pretty much covers it all. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. They should be coming out pretty soon. I'm almost at a spot where I can start shooting. Razor Crest pretty much done, N1 pretty much done, and I have the Java build that's going through paint right now. So yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next video.